On Valentine's Day, my girlfriend and I had planned to get the marriage license. I waited at the courthouse until it was almost closing time, but she never showed up. Just as I was about to call her, she sent a message, "Something came up today, can we get the marriage license another day?" I looked at the sweet photo she had announced on her secondary account with her lover, holding their marriage certificate, left a single message saying, "I wish you both happiness," and resolutely turned to leave. "Sir, are you here to get a marriage license?" Inside the courthouse, couples who had just gotten their marriage licenses were whispering to each other, faces full of joy. Only I stood in front of the courthouse window, isolated like someone abandoned by the world, unnoticed. "Sir?" The staff member's second prompt pulled my thoughts back. I looked up at the person in front of me, subconsciously nodded, but felt a pang of bitterness in my heart. The staff member paused, looked around, and asked in confusion, then, "Where's your wife?" I didn't answer. My mind couldn't help but flash back to the Sarah I once knew. 16-year-old Sarah, her skin so pale it seemed translucent in the sun, her eyes full of stars when she looked at me, her voice like ice melting in a spring stream. "Daniel, when I grow up, can I be your Mrs. Daniel, okay?" The memory was as clear as yesterday, yet the next moment, the sweet photo of the two of them on social media instantly flooded my thoughts again. Shoving my phone into my pocket, I managed a bitter smile. Her? She got married at the courthouse, with someone else. After saying this, ignoring the staff member's astonishment, I turned and walked away, afraid I wouldn't be able to hide my distress any longer. I lay in the driver's seat, looking up at the car ceiling covered with photos of Sarah and me. Memories rushed over me like a tide. A month ago, at my birthday party, Sarah, in a wedding dress, walked towards me, holding flowers, surrounded by our childhood friends. "Mr. Daniel, I'm 23 now, will you marry me?" My eyes welled up. I took the flowers from her, knelt on one knee, pulled out the ring I had prepared, and slipped it onto her finger. "Miss Sarah, I do." At that moment, my voice trembled uncontrollably. Sarah and I had been dating since college, exactly 7 years to that day. I remembered every anniversary, every birthday. I would plan for days in advance, just to make her happy. Every day after work, I'd drive straight to pick her up, then we'd go to the grocery store together, buy food, and cook. Even Sarah's colleagues were envious. "Wow, Sarah, your boyfriend is just too perfect. Sarah, you must have saved the world in your past life to find such a great boyfriend." Every time she heard such praise, Sarah's cheeks would turn red with shyness, and her eyes would overflow with sweetness when she looked at me. "Mr. Daniel, please guide me for the rest of my life." Amidst the cheers of our childhood friends, she kissed my lips, full of fervor. I thought our 7-year love marathon was finally reaching a perfect conclusion. I was so excited I couldn't sleep all night. But unexpectedly, it all turned into nothing in the blink of an eye. Watching the geese flying south in the sky, a hint of sorrow bloomed in my heart. I had to go see Sarah, there must have been a mistake. How could childhood sweethearts who grew up together lose to someone who disappeared for over a decade? As soon as I reached her doorstep, I noticed the door wasn't closed properly. Through the gap, I saw Sarah talking to her best friend. "Chloe, Ryan and I got married at the courthouse." My chest felt like it had been struck by a heavy hammer, my breath catching in my throat. Before coming, I still held on to a sliver of hope, thinking maybe Ryan was just playing a prank. It turned out I was just deceiving myself. Inside, Chloe was shocked. "Sarah, what nonsense are you talking in broad daylight? How could you possibly get married at the courthouse with Ryan?" Sarah softly sobbed, but her voice was firm. "Ryan's back, and he's been diagnosed with terminal cancer. He only has a month or 2 left. We fell in love in middle school. If our families hadn't stopped us back then, I would have been with him long ago. I missed him once, I don't want to miss him a second time. So, I'm going to have a wedding with him, I'm going to marry him. I love him." My heart felt like it was being squeezed by an invisible hand. I suddenly couldn't breathe. We had known each other for 25 years since childhood, and dated for 7. In the end, it couldn't compete with the vague affection and puppy love for someone she liked during her youthful awakening, someone who was just a passerby. Sarah! Chloe suddenly roared, her voice hoarse with disbelief. Even if you want Ryan to leave in peace, you could do it secretly. Why do you have to make the whole world know? Don't you think you're being a terrible person? I thought Sarah would realize the huge mistake she had made and sincerely regret it. But what she said next broke my heart even more. Do it secretly? What a joke. Wouldn't that be an insult to Ryan's and my love? We fell in love over a decade ago. Our love is legitimate and should be known to the whole world. I clenched my fists tightly. Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. You say your love with Ryan is pure and true. Then what were our 7 years? What was I? Chloe stamped her foot in anger. You love Ryan? What about Daniel? He's your true childhood sweetheart. He's liked you for 20 whole years. How can you do this to Daniel? I slowly raised my head, as if I could see Sarah through the door. She said confidently, Daniel has liked me since we were kids. He always gives in to me. He can't leave me. He said he'd never marry anyone but me. I don't know how I ended up leaving there. I pulled over, sat back in the driver's seat, and lit a menthol cigarette. The scent of menthol cigarette filled the enclosed car. I closed my eyes and gave a bitter laugh. I didn't actually like smoking, but perhaps the smoke was irritating, stinging my eyes. As I couldn't stop crying, Sarah's words echoed in my mind. I missed him once, I don't want to miss him a second time. So, I'm going to have a wedding with him, I'm going to marry him. I love him. Sarah and I were born in the same hospital, one after the other. We were true childhood sweethearts. Our fathers founded what is now the country's largest electronics group together. So, she was the one I had openly favored since we were kids. If the story had just ended there, it would have been a childhood sweetheart's happy ending. But in high school, Ryan appeared. A nonconformist day student with dyed blonde hair. He instantly captivated Sarah, who had always been so well behaved. He was also the first guy to make her ear tips turn red when he confessed his feelings. Because of this, her grades plummeted. Just as Sarah was about to fall for him, her father found out. That same day, he gave Ryan's family a large sum of money and sent Ryan abroad, steering Sarah and my story back on track. But who could have imagined that someone who had disappeared for a decade would reappear in front of her and instantly shatter the long years Sarah and I shared, rendering them meaningless? 3 months ago, there was a meteor shower. I shouted at the shooting stars, Daniel, will marry no one but Sarah in this life. Sarah, will marry no one but Daniel. That night, we made solemn vows, promising each other forever. I never thought the person I loved most would stab me in the heart. Stab after stab, like death by 1,000 cuts. With only one cigarette left, I got out of the car and walked towards the convenience store, but it suddenly started to rain. Couples on the street were holding hands, running desperately for home. I didn't run, because I didn't have a home anymore. Sarah suddenly called. I hung up without hesitation. She called again. I refused again. Finally, I just turned off my phone. I didn't know how to face her now. Should I blame her? But 23 years of memories left me at a loss. I don't know how long it was, but I suddenly heard someone ask with concern, "It's raining so hard, aren't you going to find somewhere to take shelter? What if you catch a cold?" I flinched, realizing the rain wasn't hitting me. Slowly looking up, I saw Sarah standing beside me, holding an umbrella over my head. Her eyes were red-rimmed, full of heartache. Gently, she took the cigarette butt from my fingers and threw it into the trash can. "Smoke less, it's not good for your health." Then, seeing my head was soaked with rain, she immediately took off her own coat and carefully dried me off. "You're a grown man, smoking and getting rained on. Are you trying to make me angry again?" As our eyes met, I felt a sense of unreality. At that moment, how I wished the thing on social media hadn't happened at all. After she finished, Sarah knelt in front of me, her eyes full of concern. "Have you eaten?" I shook my head numbly, clinging to her tenderness. She smiled faintly, took my hand, and said, "Let's go home then." Back at her place, she immediately served me half a bowl of soup. "Drink some hot soup first, warm yourself up, don't catch a cold." I didn't take it. She looked puzzled. What's wrong? Aren't you hungry? I looked at her, our eyes meeting again. Looking at the girl I had practically raised since she was little, the girl I had openly favored for a whole past life, a myriad of mixed emotions churned inside me. I could barely control myself. After a moment of thought, I steadied my voice, my heart like still water. Sarah, let's break up. Sarah's hand trembled. The soup spilled, burning her. If this had been before, I would have instantly pulled out tissues to wipe her hand. This time, I just sat there, unmoved. After a long time, her lips began to tremble. Whether it was my imagination or not, her voice was tearful and shaky. Daniel, is it because I got married at the courthouse with Ryan today? Are you angry? Please don't be angry, okay? Ryan only has 3 months left. After 3 months, as long as we still love each other. Stop talking. I violently shook off her hand, my face cold. Miss Sarah, you've already gotten married at the courthouse with someone else. You're someone else's legal wife, so please respect yourself. Daniel. Sarah's expression suddenly became complicated, and she swallowed the rest of her words. Her eyes grew redder, and tears, like pearls, rolled down her cheeks. Since we were kids, I had racked my brain to make her happy every day, never willing to let her shed a single tear. Because I believed that if you love someone, you should work hard to make them happy, even if it required making great sacrifices myself. But at this moment, I ignored her crying, my heart like stone. Miss Sarah, we're finished. I turned back to the room to pack my clothes. Sarah snatched my clothes and hugged me tightly, as if she wanted to melt me into her body, her voice panicked and hoarse. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Daniel, I'm sorry. I really didn't want to hear any form of I'm sorry. I wanted to be treated right. Daniel, I beg you, please don't leave me, okay? You know I love you very much, so very much. Didn't you promise Grandma before she died that you'd be good to me for life and never leave me? Just wait for me for 3 months. After 3 months, I'll still be yours, okay? She looked up at me, her eyes full of tears, looking pitiful. I pried her hands off and, under her panicked gaze, slowly shook my head. Sarah, you keep saying you love me, but you've already chosen Ryan. If that's the case, why should I wait for you? Is it just because you think I love you that you're so reckless? Sarah froze, then shook her head. Through her tears. It's not like that. Just then, Sarah's phone rang. Seeing it was Ryan's number, she quickly wiped away her tears, composed herself, and forced a smile. Ryan, what's up? You're not satisfied with the groom's tuxedo? Don't worry, I'll be right there to help you choose. At the wedding tomorrow, you'll definitely be the most handsome groom in the world. Ryan, I love you. She hung up. Sarah looked at me again, her eyes pleading. Daniel, you used to indulge me no matter what I did. Why are you so fragile now? You can't handle even a little bit of grievance? After Ryan is gone, I'll still come back to you. For the rest of our lives, decades from now, I'll be with you, supporting each other, having children for you. Isn't that enough? Daniel, I love him, but I love you too. Our eyes met. I could see the sincerity in her eyes, she meant what she said. Yet she was so sincere that within 1 minute, she said I love you to 2 different men. She even emphasized it in front of me. A sarcastic curve appeared on my lips. I found it utterly ridiculous. She said she loved me, but she was meticulously planning how to make Ryan the most handsome groom. You must come to the wedding tomorrow. I want you to see me looking my most beautiful. And when we have our wedding, can it be like this too? After saying that, she didn't wait for my answer and left in a hurry to find Ryan. The moment the door closed, I took out the photo of Sarah and me from my wallet, lit it with a lighter, and watched it slowly burn. 23 years of love, now as fragile as this photo consumed by fire. It was reduced to ashes in an instant. An entire past obsession finally, like the hot and scorching flame, prompted me to let go. I turned my youth into ashes, saw through the illusion, and let her fly away. I sat on the ground, lit a cigarette, and looked at the anonymous text message that appeared on my phone. Daniel, remember to come to Sarah's and my wedding. Even if I'm dying, I still won against you. No need to guess, this was definitely Ryan. The old me would have flown into a rage. But at this moment, my face was expressionless. I just typed one word. Okay. The next day, I arrived at the entrance of the hotel/wedding venue and ran into Sarah's colleagues. The way they looked at me was complex, surprised, curious, confused, regretful. I paid them no mind, walked past them, and headed straight into the hotel/wedding venue. Sarah had prepared a handsome tuxedo for me. But I didn't wear it. After all, I wasn't here to attend the wedding. From the entrance to the upper floors, wedding photos of Sarah and Ryan hung everywhere, each one radiating sweetness and happiness. Red fabric draped down, creating a festive atmosphere. The banquet hall was crowded, but none of Sarah's family members were present. Soon, I saw Sarah. She was wearing a beautiful wedding dress, looking around, as if searching for something. Seeing me arrive, Sarah first froze, then quickly walked up to me, her eyes red-rimmed, her voice trembling. Daniel, you really still love me, don't you? I'm so happy you came. She reached out to take my hand. I immediately avoided her grasp and said coolly, Miss Sarah, there's a distinction between men and women, especially at your wedding. Holding hands is inappropriate. The smile on Sarah's face instantly froze, and her eyes showed a hint of panic. Daniel, are you still angry? Then, why did you come? Why did I come? Seeing her choking up, I knew exactly what she was thinking. She was afraid I had come to cause trouble, or even to crash the wedding and take her away. I gave a light chuckle, about to speak, when the MC over there started prompting. The wedding is about to begin, the bride needs to come over now. Daniel! Sarah glanced back at the urging friends and relatives, then turned to me, stepping closer, her eyes red. This is my dream. Please, just wait for me for 3 months. When the dream is over, I'll come back to you. Just let me marry Ryan. Just compromise for me one last time, okay? The wedding ceremony proceeded. The MC stood between Sarah and Ryan, beginning the standard vows. During the vows, Sarah kept looking at me, her eyes full of apprehension. The guests found it strange and looked at me curiously. Who is that guy? Looks like the bride's ex-boyfriend. What's the ex-boyfriend doing here? Is he trying to crash the wedding? That's really shameless. The bride didn't even want him, and he still shows up. Everyone watched me intently, whispering among themselves. Their words were harsh, but I didn't care. It was ironic, really. All I was here to do today was say goodbye to this absurd chapter of my youth. I had already booked a flight to France to inherit the property my mother left me there. So, after today, I would never see her again. As for giving my blessings, I didn't think I was magnanimous enough for that. Saying goodbye was my limit. But just as I was about to turn and leave, I saw Sarah take out a golden locket. She glanced at me, then subtly shook her head. At that moment, looking at that familiar locket, my feet felt like they were filled with 1,000 pounds of molten copper. I couldn't move an inch. Isn't this Daniel's? Ryan's eyes swept towards me in astonishment, then filled with immense surprise. Sarah looked at Ryan with tender affection. This was left by my grandma. She said that as long as the newlyweds wear it, they will love each other for a lifetime and be happy and safe. Ryan looked at the locket, so moved that he choked up. Your grandma? Sarah! That's my grandma! My grandma personally placed this Gu family heirloom in your hands before she passed away. That was a privilege only meant for the daughter-in-law of the Gu family. Sarah, full of deep emotion, placed the locket around Ryan's neck and declared publicly, Ryan, being able to marry you is the greatest dream of my life, Sarah. In this life, are you willing to love only me? No matter what I do, are you willing to like me, tolerate me, forgive me? The hall fell silent. Looking at Sarah's expectant gaze, Ryan glanced at me triumphantly and gently pulled Sarah into his arms. I will. As long as you're happy, I'm willing to do anything. The hall erupted in applause. I stared fixedly at the locket around Ryan's neck, my heart feeling like it was being fiercely squeezed. Someone in the audience suddenly started cheering. Ryan, what are you waiting for? Kiss your bride. Kiss her. Kiss her. Sarah closed her eyes, her face full of anticipation. Enough! I roared like a beast and strode forward. The entire hall instantly fell silent. Everyone stared at me, completely taken aback. Sarah seemed to wake from a dream, her expression startled as she looked at me. Her eyes red, she watched me walk towards her with long strides. Sarah grabbed the microphone, shaking her head desperately. Daniel, don't! You used to say you wouldn't hurt me. I walked onto the stage, ignoring everything, my eyes fixed straight ahead. I glared coldly at Sarah, clenching my fists, my heart seething with hatred. I took the microphone and said something that made her cover her mouth and burst into tears on the spot, something she would regret forever. I originally came to wish you happiness. But now, I've changed my mind. Sarah, may you be trapped in the endless cycle of novelty. As Sarah covered her mouth, sobbing, and Ryan stared, dumbfounded, I stepped forward and ripped the locket from Ryan's neck. This is my grandma's keepsake, I said fiercely. No one is allowed to defile it. Everyone in the hall was stunned. What? That locket belongs to the bride's ex-boyfriend? What's going on? What do you mean what's going on? Didn't you hear what he said? This Sarah is not a good person. I turned and walked away, faster and faster, wanting to leave the sickening place as quickly as possible. Running out of the hotel/wedding venue, I was about to drive away when Sarah chased after me and grabbed my arm. Daniel, where are you going? I shook her hand off, my words dripping with sarcasm. Mrs. Ryan, you are a married woman. Please respect yourself. Even if you don't care about your reputation, I do. These words stung Sarah deeply. She had never expected me to say something so hurtful. My love for her had been true. Even if she chose Ryan, I hadn't planned on clinging to her or cursing her maliciously. But she had insulted my grandma's keepsake like that, and I couldn't forgive it. You call me Mrs. Ryan? Sarah's eyes were red-rimmed, her chin trembling slightly, her expression pained and wronged. If this were before, seeing her like this would have broken my heart. But now, I felt nothing. This must be what it feels like when your heart dies. If not Mrs. Ryan, then what should I call you? Sarah? You don't deserve it. Tears gushed from Sarah's eyes. She covered her mouth and squatted on the ground, crying uncontrollably. I opened the car door and got in. The car started. Sarah stood up in a panic, grabbed the car window, and ran alongside. Daniel, wait! Don't leave me! Daniel, I beg you. The car picked up speed. I was frantic. Let go! You'll get hurt. I won't let go. Even if I'm battered and bruised, I won't let go. Daniel, don't leave me. Pedestrians on the street saw a bride clinging to a car window and looked on, some even filming with their phones. Sarah chased for a while, but her high heels weren't meant for running. She finally had to let go and fell to the ground. I leaned out the window and saw her lying on the ground, crying her eyes out, looking so pathetic. Are you feeling sorry for her? Why should I feel sorry for her? As I said that, I suddenly realized the voice sounded familiar. I turned my head, and it was Chloe. I was surprised. Weren't you at the hotel/wedding venue? How did you get in my car? I was. But I couldn't stand it anymore. So I wanted to leave. I happened to see you were leaving too, so I thought I'd catch a ride. Chloe looked at me with a complicated expression and asked, should I get out? No, I'll take you. Have you really let go? I chuckled self-deprecatingly. I let go a long time ago. If she hadn't insisted on taking out my grandma's locket, it wouldn't have turned out like this. Chloe nodded slightly. Where are you headed now? Back to get my luggage, then to France. She hummed in acknowledgement and didn't say anything more. After getting home, I grabbed my suitcase and left, without a single lingering look. Chloe helped me carry a bag. As we rode the elevator down, she secretly glanced at me a few times, and after much hesitation, finally asked, going to France, never coming back? I know what you're going to say. I'm not running away. I have serious business to attend to over there. Chloe nodded gently, a hint of disappointment in her eyes, but still managed a forced smile. Honestly, I really admire you. I turned to look at her, feeling curious. Chloe looked straight ahead, as if talking to herself. Good men like you, with such broad minds, good temperaments, and who know how to spoil their girlfriends, are truly rare. Sarah leaving you because of a past regret, that's her being ungrateful. If it were me, I would never let go, even if I were dying. As she spoke, she suddenly looked at me, her eyes clear and sincere. I was taken aback. When I came back to my senses, I quickly looked away. The air suddenly froze. Chloe broke the awkward silence with a laugh. Just kidding, don't take it to heart. I gave a soft mem as a response. After loading the luggage into the car, we left the neighborhood. 10 minutes later, she pointed to the hotel/wedding venue ahead. You can just drop me off by the road, I can get a cab back myself. The car stopped by the road. After Chloe got out, she waved goodbye to me. I turned the car and drove towards the hotel/wedding venue. Glancing in the rearview mirror, I suddenly saw that she was still standing there, watching me leave. It wasn't until I entered the hotel/wedding venue that she reluctantly got a cab and left. That night, I stayed at the hotel/wedding venue. Sarah called me, but I didn't answer. She called again, and I blocked her number. Feeling restless, I prepared for bed, planning to look for a place to stay tomorrow. In the middle of the night, my phone suddenly rang. It was Chloe calling. As soon as I answered, she said, "Daniel, something's happened." I instinctively thought something had happened to Chloe and asked, "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong with me, it's Sarah." Something happened to Sarah. As she was speaking, there was a sudden knock on my door. I told Chloe to hold on for a moment and got up to open the door. Standing outside were a police officer and hotel staff. The police officer showed his badge and asked seriously, "Are you Mr. Daniel?" I had never dealt with the police before, and I felt nervous. I nodded numbly. "Yes, that's me. What can I do for you?" As I asked, I was racking my brain, wondering if I had done anything illegal or against the rules today. The police officer noticed my nervousness and finally showed a slight smile. "Don't be nervous, I'm not here to arrest you. Someone reported their boyfriend missing to the police station. That's why we've come looking for you." As he spoke, he took out his phone to report. "Chief, we found the person, he's at XX hotel/wedding venue. Bring the person who reported him missing over quickly." I was completely confused when my phone suddenly vibrated. I picked it up and saw it was a message from Chloe. "Daniel, Sarah has been calling everyone asking for your whereabouts. When she couldn't find you, she actually reported you missing to the police." I finally understood and voluntarily explained. "Officer, it's a misunderstanding. I'm not Sarah's boyfriend." The police officer didn't believe me. ND patted my arm, trying to persuade me. "Young man, I've been your age. It's normal for couples to argue and get upset. As real men, we should be more magnanimous. You don't know, your girlfriend even knelt down and begged us to help her find you. We can all see that she has genuine feelings for you. So, no matter how angry you are, you should forgive her, right?" I could see he meant well. But things weren't at all how he imagined. What happened between Sarah and me couldn't be explained in a few words. Feeling helpless, I went back to my room to pack and prepare to leave. I really didn't want to see Sarah again. The police officer saw I was about to leave and stopped me, a bit annoyed. "Young man, why won't you listen to advice? I'm doing this for your own good." "I know. But do you know, she's already married." The police officer was instantly dumbfounded, completely confused. "What's going on?" Just then, Sarah came running in, her eyes red and swollen from crying. Seeing it was really me, Sarah didn't greet me but bowed to thank the police officer. The police officer, seeing his task was done, didn't linger and left with the hotel staff. I was also about to leave, but Sarah blocked my way, asking tearfully, Do you really not want to see me? I looked straight ahead, not at her, my attitude cold. What difference does it make if I see you or not? It doesn't matter anymore. Then when I was chasing your car, why did you tell me to let go? Wasn't it because you still cared about me? I gave a light chuckle and looked at Sarah. Don't flatter yourself. Even if it were a stranger clinging to my car window, I would still kindly warn them. Do you need something else? If not, please move. She still blocked my way, her expression puzzled. You used to spoil me so much. No matter how willful I was, you would tolerate me and wouldn't get angry. Why aren't you willing to tolerate me one last time? I found it laughable. Sarah, how much more do you want me to tolerate you? We agreed to get married at the courthouse on Valentine's Day, but you didn't just not show up, you went and got married at the courthouse with someone else. Did I scold you? Did I lose my temper at you? You told me how much you loved Ryan, that you didn't want him to leave this world with regrets, and that's why you had to marry him. Fine, I respected your choice. You asked me to attend the wedding, no problem. I was still thinking, as long as you're happy, even if the person making you happy isn't me. But why would you give away my grandma's keepsake? You knew perfectly well that grandma wanted you to wear it before she passed away. How could you do that to my grandma? Mentioning my grandma made my eyes sting uncontrollably. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Sarah covered her mouth, already in tears. I fought back my own tears, grabbed my suitcase, and turned to leave. Sarah rushed forward and grabbed my hand, crying. I'm sorry, Daniel, you didn't wrong me. You wronged yourself. I pushed her hand away and walked away resolutely. Sarah ran in front of me, crying and pleading. Daniel, I know I made a mistake. Please, can you give me one more chance? I promise, I'll never be willful again from now on. I sighed deeply and shook my head. Sarah, you're Mrs. Ryan now, a married woman. Coming to find me so publicly and saying these things, aren't you afraid people will misunderstand? You've already betrayed me. Do you want to betray Ryan too? He doesn't have much time left. Can you really bear to let him leave this world with regrets? Hearing Ryan's name, Sarah paused, stopping her crying. The reluctance in her eyes revealed her true feelings. She was pleading with me for a chance because she couldn't bear to lose me. But at the same time, she couldn't let go of Ryan either. Sarah stood there dejectedly, her expression conflicted and at a loss. I walked past her, my shoulder lightly brushing hers, and she didn't react at all. After leaving that hotel/wedding venue, I checked into a different hotel. Perhaps the bed in this hotel wasn't comfortable, as I couldn't sleep all night. My phone suddenly rang. It was Chloe calling. Couple downstairs is fighting, can't sleep. Want to come out and have a drink with me? I arrived at the place, which was a casual bar with food. Chloe ordered some food and had them bring over a case of beer. As she ate, she said, order whatever you want, don't be shy, it's on me. Then, she poured me a glass of beer. Looking at the bubbly liquid, I suddenly remembered something and asked, didn't you say eating late-night snacks and drinking beer is the easiest way to gain weight? Why are you in such a mood tonight? Chloe's eyes darted around, then she found an excuse. It's okay to indulge occasionally. Come on, cheers! She clinked glasses with me and took a sip. Chloe's tolerance for alcohol was very low. The first time we celebrated Sarah's birthday, Chloe was there. That night, we were all very happy, raising our glasses to celebrate Sarah's birthday. Chloe had one glass of beer, her cheeks turned red, and her eyes became hazy. But tonight, seeing the case of beer at her feet, I suddenly understood her true intention. She wasn't unable to sleep and looking for a distraction, she clearly wanted to invite me out to clear my head, afraid I'd be sulking alone in the hotel. As expected, after 2 glasses of beer, Chloe was disoriented, fumbling around, unable to even find the glass in front of her. Come on, keep drinking, drink. Seeing she was already drunk and talking nonsense, I shook my head helplessly. After helping her up, I looked around for her car. Finally, I asked the casual bar with food owner and managed to find it about 30 meters away. Just as I reached her car, a familiar voice suddenly called out, "Daniel?" I looked up and saw Sarah standing a few meters away. She stared blankly at Chloe and me, a hint of sadness flashing in her eyes, and tears fell. LL again. This is the real reason you couldn't forgive me, isn't it? I was about to explain, but then I thought better of it. Anyway, things were over between Sarah and me, so why bother wasting words or getting more entangled? If this could make her completely let go of me, maybe it wasn't a bad thing. At least she wouldn't come looking for me anymore, and I could have some peace. I opened the car door and carefully helped Chloe into the passenger seat, then fastened her seatbelt. Once I was sure she wouldn't fall over, I walked around to the driver's seat. Sarah suddenly grabbed my arm, angry. "When did things start between you and Chloe?" I looked up at her and asked coldly, "Does that concern you? On your wedding night, shouldn't you be with Mr. Ryan, instead of running around outside in the middle of the night? Is this appropriate?" My words, like needles, pierced Sarah, causing her pain and making her body tremble. She let go of my arm. I floored the gas pedal, and the car sped away. Sarah stood frozen in place, watching me leave. This time she didn't chase after me. She must have given up on me completely. This was probably for the best. "Have you really let her go?" I turned my head and saw Chloe was sitting up straight, her eyes clear, not drunk at all. This surprised me. "You weren't drunk?" Chloe smiled faintly. "Do you still think I'm the same as I was 7 years ago? After working for so many years, my alcohol tolerance has improved a lot." "Then why were you pretending to be drunk?" "You still haven't answered my question. Are you sure you've really let go of Sarah?" I turned back, looking straight ahead, and nodded slightly, expressionless. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a satisfied smile appear on Chloe's lips. After that night, I didn't see Sarah for 3 months. However, I heard from her friends that Sarah was not doing well. Ryan was in the final stage of cancer, often suffering unbearable pain, wishing he were dead. Sometimes, when pain was extreme, he would smash things and hit people. Sarah didn't know the full extent of the situation at first and, fearing he would hurt himself, tried to stop him. But he slapped her across the face, leaving her lip bleeding and looking miserable. She deeply regretted marrying Ryan. Because I had never once cursed her, let alone hit her. From then on, no matter how much Ryan screamed or threw things, she wouldn't intervene. Furthermore, less than a month after marrying Ryan, she often stayed out all night, sometimes not being seen for days. Once, when she was drunk, Sarah confessed the truth. After marrying Ryan, she realized life wasn't as happy and joyful as she had imagined. On the contrary, seeing Ryan going crazy and hitting people, constantly needing painkillers, and his face looking more and more gaunt and terrifying, Sarah began to regret her decision. She had suggested divorce, but Ryan refused. Helpless, she resorted to not going home as a way to avoid him. Sarah herself said that seeing Ryan now made her sick to her stomach, and she was terrified. She wouldn't go back to that house even if it killed her. None of her friends sympathized with her, they all felt she deserved this outcome. Sarah became agitated and threw a beer bottle on the spot, ending the gathering on bad terms. Her friends gradually distanced themselves from her. Later, someone said Ryan passed away from his illness, and Sarah didn't even attend the funeral. Ryan's family was furious. After the police station located Sarah based on a report, they unleashed a torrent of accusations and insults, saying her indifference towards Ryan accelerated his death. Sarah retorted that Ryan only had less than 3 months to live anyway, and his death had nothing to do with her. After several rounds of arguments, Ryan's family, unable to bear it any longer, physically assaulted Sarah. She couldn't fight against 7 or 8 people alone and ended up with a bruised and swollen face, even a cut across her face that left a scar. Sarah, enraged, sued Ryan's family, turning it into a farce. After work one day, I went grocery shopping with Chloe, planning to cook at home. As we were leaving, she suddenly leaned into my ear and whispered, "Someone seems to be following us." I was shocked. Following us in broad daylight? That's unacceptable. So, I immediately contacted the supermarket staff. After checking the surveillance footage, they confirmed that someone was indeed trailing Chloe and me. The supermarket quickly deployed staff and cornered the person in the seafood section. The person shouted, "What are you doing? Let go of me, let go." The supermarket decided to take her to the police station for legal processing. I found the voice familiar and cautiously stepped forward to get a closer look. When I saw her face, I blurted out in surprise, "Sarah?" Chloe also looked closely, equally shocked. "It really is Sarah? How could it be you?" There was a long scar on Sarah's face, running from her forehead down to her jawline. Although it was evident she had undergone plastic surgery, it wasn't successful, and the scar was still quite noticeable. Sarah quickly lowered her head, covering her face with her hand, denying, "I'm not Sarah, you've got the wrong person, I'm not." I stepped forward, took her hand, and looked her in the eye. We had been in love for 7 years. Even if her appearance had changed, I could recognize her at a glance. I just never thought she would end up like this. When Sarah saw me, she squatted on the ground and burst into tears. Chloe and the supermarket staff explained that the person was our friend and it was a misunderstanding, so the supermarket didn't take her to the police station. After taking Sarah outside, I asked in confusion, "Why were you following us?" "I wanted to see you one last time." "One last time? What do you mean?" Sarah looked up and forced a smile. "I'm moving away. In the future, I might not come back. So, before I leave, I wanted to see you. But I've become like this, and I was too ashamed, so I had no choice but to. Daniel, seeing that you're doing well, I'm relieved." She suddenly stood up, looked at Chloe, and said tearfully with a pleading tone, "You used to be my best friend, we told each other everything. I hope you can take good care of Daniel for me and give him double the love I couldn't give him." Chloe nodded gently. Sarah smiled faintly, wiped away her tears. "I'm leaving. Goodbye. I wish you both happiness."